Hi, everyone. This is going to be our first homework review. And so, as you can see, this one's titled Part 1 Homework Review, and it relates to Target 15 of Unit 6. Now, every time you see Part 1, it should all go back to the same Part 1 in our note packet for this unit, and Part 1 as far as our worksheet and our practice assignments go. And so, for the homework review, these are going to be 3 specific problems picked off of the Part 1 worksheet. And we'll get a homework review for every single worksheet we give you. And so that way you can always, try these homeworks by yourself, try these problems by yourself. And if you're still struggling beyond the notes and the note video and stuff like that, I will continue to try to, help your struggle and help your progress through showing you how to do 3 specific problems from those worksheets. So our 3 problems today are going to be problem number 1, number 6, and number 19. And as you can see, they're all pretty similar, all practicing that same skill that we introduced in our note packet. If you just watched that video recently, and so I'll help work you through these problems. So here we go. Remember, we are trying to simplify the radicals, and these radicals are square roots. So we're trying to simplify the square root. And so what we are trying to do is break the number underneath it into our biggest perfect square. Remember, our square numbers are 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, and so on, right? And they correspond to 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, and so on. So again, we want to break the number under the radical. So in this problem number 1, that's 40, into the biggest number we can find from that list over there, times whatever else we need to make it become 40. So in this problem, it's going to be breaking it into 4 times 10. Remember, 4 times 10 is still 40, so the value is the same, but that 4 is our biggest perfect square number, and that's what we want to find, and then we want to simplify that. So remember, we can write both these numbers under their own radical, and then literally all we want to do is just actually do the square root of 4, because that will give us a number that's not a decimal, a whole number. Square root of 4 is 2, and then that square root of 10 stays like that because 10 is not a perfect square number, so we don't want to turn that into a decimal. And so our final answer is 2 times the square root of 10. All right, now let's try to repeat that process here with 27. I'll keep those perfect square numbers handy up in the top of the screen. So same deal here. We want to break 27 into biggest perfect square times whatever else. I'm going to skip the first step and just put them under their own radicals. So again, 2 radicals, biggest perfect square times whatever else. Biggest perfect square that goes into 27 would be 9. And 9 times 3 gives us 27. So we can break this into the square root of 9 times the square root of 3. And the square root of 9 just is 3. And so our final answer is 3 times the square root of 3. All right, now problem number 19 deals with a little bit different of a skill. Same idea, we're doing operations with radicals, but we aren't simplifying them in the same way. What we are going to try to do is take the radical that's in the bottom of our fraction, which is called the denominator, and get rid of it, right? But we can't change the value of our whole fraction. We still need it to maintain the same value as 4 divided by square root of 3. We just don't want the square root of 3 to sit in the bottom. So we are going to multiply this by 1, right? But a specific 1. So what I did there was multiply by a fraction. My fraction is the square root of 3, whatever's in the bottom here, that number divided by itself. And remember, anytime we divide by itself, it maintains the value of 1. So essentially, all we're doing here is timesing by 1, and it's going to keep the same value, but it's going to get rid of that square root of 3 in the bottom. Here's how. Remember, we just multiply across for fractions. So on the top, we get 4 times the square root of 3, and that just is 4 times the square root of 3. And then we divide by the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, right? If we are multiplying across on the bottom, we multiply square root of 3 times square root of 3. What we're going to want to do is really just do 3 times 3 and keep that number under the radical. So we're still going to have a radical, and 3 times 3 is 9. So square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. And that's the crucial step here, because the square root of 9 is a perfect square, right? 9 is a perfect square, and so we can actually do that. And it's going to leave us with 4 times the square root of 3 on top, but the square root of 9 is just 3. And then our last question is, can we simplify it farther by dividing these two numbers? Is 4 divided by 3 as reduced as it gets, or can we reduce this further? In this problem, that's it. And so this is our final answer, 4 times the square root of 3 divided by 3. All right, I hope this helped. Keep working hard at the worksheets and at the practice and the notes. You're doing a great job. Let's just keep getting through this together. And yeah, that's it for part 1 homework review. Thank you.